B Rad Celebrity Hairstylist here, your host of the Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast, a platform that allows the voices of the beauty industry to empower with the spoken word. Thank you for joining us on today's show. We're currently on over 50 plus podcast platforms, including Amazon Music, Audible, and Spotify, all thanks to you. Welcome to today's episode of the Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast. I'm so excited for today's guest. Can we talk? Let me tell you. Maybe that's a little bit, I've said too much already. Today's guest started working in a hair salon at the age of 15 years old solely because she didn't play a sport after school and needed something to keep her busy. Quickly realizing her path in the beauty business had begun, she worked her way from shampoo assistant to the head salon stylist to salon owner in her 35 years in the industry. She has gained success at all levels and, having experienced the ups and downs of salon life, decided it was time to use her childhood love of writing and give others insight into a life behind the chair. She's also the owner of Karma Beauty Studio, so let's just take a look.
I am Nikki Cestaro, a hairdresser and salon owner in Merrick, Long Island, and I recently wrote a book called Super Hairo, all about what it's really like to be a hairstylist. I began as a shampoo girl in 1989, and then in 2006 I opened my own salon, Karma Beauty Studio. Most people think what I do for a living is glamorous, making people pretty all day long.
Wait. What?
Oh yeah, it sure is. I mean, who else would buy the toilet paper and get the hair out of the clogged drain? I decided to write a memoir all about the things that clients really don't know, and I included some hair-raising stories about crazy clients and dysfunctional staff. My whole career, people have said somebody should really write a book about the craziness of a salon, so I did.
Wow, this book has so much in it, and I've actually been reading it, and so it's like there's so much. I think we need a 10-part series for this book, and I advise anybody, if you're watching, make sure to go and pick it up. So we're going to bring our guest on. So welcome, Nikki. So thank you for being on the Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast. So we usually kind of ask people to introduce themselves and kind of give a little bit about their background, but I think your video kind of did that already. But if you want to kind of just kind of give us a brief interview, say hi. How excited are you to be on today's show? You've been buzzing everywhere, like you're on almost all the podcasts. We see you everywhere. You have incredible social media. Like we can go on and on and on and on.
But no, it's been exciting. It's really, this book has taken on a whole new path of its own. It's grown legs, and I'm very proud of it. I've been in this hair industry for, it will be almost 36 years. I love it, and I don't think that there would be anything else that I would ever want to do. But with that comes a lot of the difficulties and the stress and the frustration. And I found, as with all the stages I had gone through, from when I started to hairdresser to owning a salon, it comes with all different territory. And I felt that I needed to journal, and I started to write down my thoughts and to go through in my own head and put it all out on paper. And I read it back, and it was funny. And I really thought that, you know what, I realized I'm not alone. And I know that I'm not. I know that there's a lot of other people in the hair industry that are struggling, and regardless what level you're at. And I just decided to tell all the secrets and to tell all of the guide to how I got to where I got. It worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you. And it's been exciting, though. Been a lot of buzz.
Yeah, and your book doesn't hide anything. Let me tell you, it doesn't hide.
Right. But nobody's named. There's no name. That's it. It's like the salon version of the help.
Exactly. But if you know, you know. So what was the aha moment what made you realize this book needed to be written?
I wrote this book as a journal, as I said, and it probably was about 2 to 3 years. And I didn't even tell my own husband about it. I would just be like, on my own devices, my iPad, and he'd question, and I'd be like, oh, I'm just writing whatever, leave me alone. Mm-hmm. And I started to read it back, and it just seemed, I have a very humorous way about me. If you sat in my chair, if you know me personally, I kind of find the humor in it all. So it does kind of parlay into my writing. And I was reading back a couple of things. And honestly, even these moments where I wanted to rip my hair out or somebody else's hair, they were funny. And I sit back and say, you know what? It's readable. So I actually, after 2 to 3 years, finally told my husband, and I said, I'm gonna read you something. I've been writing on and off for the last, few years. And he's like, why are you not doing something with this? You'd be so foolish not to. You're not the only salon owner. You're not the only hairdresser that feels this way. People will resonate with that. So truly, gotta give the guy some credit. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. So can you give us a quick overview of Super Hairo and what makes it special?
Well, Super Hairo is my own story, but I know that it's so similar because speaking to hairstylists since the book came out, they've said, I feel like I'm reading my own story. What makes it special is that I really don't hold back. I know what I had to do to get to where I am right now. And I have no problem trying to mentor or discuss the pitfalls. I'm a believer, the very old school way about me as far as how I run my business and how I run my life behind the chair. You do have to get your hands dirty in order to get to that next level. You do have to put the work in. And I feel that when you read it, you'll understand what I went through. I went through some great things and I went through some not so great things. And I think I learned from that. And I pay forward the way I wish I was treated. And I kind of always implement into the people that work with me the way I appreciated being treated. What makes my book special is that there are so many stories and it's emotional and it's funny and it's very, very authentic. I mean, I really don't leave anything out. It was a very cathartic journey for me to write it. And I'm pretty certain, as other hairdressers have told me, I know I'm not alone. So I think when people do read it, they'll resonate. The other thing too, not just a book for hair. I've had many business owners, restaurant owners, people who work in service business say to me, I absolutely understand what you mean. I own a restaurant. It is so hard to find good help. The crazy people sitting at the tables or people who work, everybody goes through this. Service business is not easy. And I feel also that's what makes my book special is that this isn't just for the hair industry. It's for everybody. Have you sat in a salon chair? Have you ever gotten a haircut? It's for you.
And I think that's what people don't realize as a client in a salon. You don't realize kind of what goes on behind the scenes. Even though everybody's smiling, everybody's nice, we all, every hairstylist is having a great day, but then you don't see the stuff that goes on in the break room or the other kind of stuff going on or how sometimes people are treated. But as I was reading this book, because I'm used to being a multi-salon owner and having, assistants and working with a lot of different people. And two, it really, for me, it was a very visual book. So as I was reading, it really gets those movie, reels going in your head. And really, because then you can relate not only to the stories that are happening in your life, but also how very similar it is to how I can also relate to that as well, sort of thing. So with the Super Hairo, it's such a unique title. How did you come up with it and what does it symbolize?
Well, we are superheroes. People come in, they're not happy. They feel ugly. Maybe there's things going on in their lives. Everybody hates their husband and hates their kid and is broke and is fat and wishes that they could be on a vacation, but they can't afford it. Everybody comes in and they come to us to escape. And we do swoop in and we make them look prettier and we give them the confidence and we trim up their hair and we give them, we guide them. We're treating them. And I think that's why I felt it was a good title. I said, we are superheroes to our clients. And we only take care of the hair, but truly, from an emotional point, we take care of a lot more.
Yeah, and they also say, and too, you have the superhero with the cape, and they say all superheroes don't wear capes. Sometimes we put them around our clients. So the same sort of thing. That cape becomes magic.
Yeah, it
When
is.
when it's around your client, that's when you create and you become that superhero for them because you're doing transformation. You're doing, as I say, you're listening to them. They just left their spouse, I want a new haircut, and they go short. There's things that you learn, and I mean the hair tells a lot of secrets and they're like, how did you know? Even
Yeah,
if you're at the shampoo basin, somebody has a tight scalp. You're like, oh, you have so much stress. And how did you know? Well, because we're there and we're one of the few businesses where we're actually paid to touch people.
yeah.
You know
Very
what I mean? And of course, having that contact, it's not just an exchange of service; it's an exchange of connection. It's a
good.
can
Yeah.
can it's
Love most
a
of what we do because
mhm,
it's not just the hair. People go through things. They're going through health issues. They're going through money issues, emotional relationship things.
mhm,
Like I wrote in the book on 9/11, people still came, even though they didn't even know what was going on in the world. They just went on automatic pilot. And sitting in my chair, they knew they were with family. They felt like even though they were people were walking in saying like, I can't even believe I'm here getting my hair colored. But it wasn't about the hair color. It was about I'm gonna go be with Nikki, and that's the closest to family, and I need that right now. Everybody,
mhm,
sure. So that's one situation. COVID, we were one of the only entities that we could actually touch people. You couldn't hug
mhm.
anybody, but look at how close we come. Like it's
Yes,
close enough to hug them or kiss them. So we did it in a very safe way, and people healed from that
mhm,
situation. They didn't have human contact. And
yes,
again, people go through these emotional things, and we are like the bartenders, the therapists, the concierge, the big
mhm.
sister, the friend, and I love that about what we do, and that's what's going to keep me doing it until I can't do it no more. So the
Exactly.
relationships that we've built, and I do feel that when I came up with it, I had this epiphany about the title. I said that's got to be the title because people have said to me they do view us that way, and that's what I love about our industry.
And they do long for connection. Like clients really want connection. They want to be loved and they want to be understood. They want to be heard. Where for us, it's not just about doing a service. There's
Mhm.
so much more to it, to the client. It's not about getting that color, getting that haircut. Yes, it makes them feel better. And that's a big thing. When COVID came, people wanted to come to us because they wanted to feel better, not necessarily because they needed their hair done. Because too, if you're not going anywhere, you're not seeing anybody, but just for your own well-being, a lot of times that's really why clients come to us for the experience, not for the skill or the talent, but more so for the experience. But you have a lot of core themes. So what are the core themes of the book and what do you hope readers will take away from it?
Well, the core theme, obviously, it's humorous. It's a humorous take on what we do. I throw a lot of that in there, and I find that makes it very readable. I feel that for somebody who's in our industry or somebody looking to become a hairdresser or somebody in the beauty industry, I think it's a good guide. I think it's a good business guide. I've been told by people who are hedge fund, Wall Street people, that it is a very good guide for that. And it has nothing to
Yes.
do with hair when they read it. It's
Hmm.
about being present, being taking charge of what you have, being authentic,
Yes.
um, showing up, putting in the hard work, knowing that it doesn't come easy. Success comes from hard work. It's
Hmm.
not down to you. It is not waiting for you behind the other door. So I feel that anybody in business, I've had school teachers say to me, I want all my students to read this because I want them to understand it. You can't dial it in. I feel like
Hmm.
you started at the bottom. You had no skills. You learned as you went. You made something of it. You had drive, and you made it to where you are. I am in no way the pinnacle of the world. I'm a
Hmm.
hairdresser, but I
Hmm.
also stopped, and I kind of always took the next step. So this book for me was my next step. But I feel from that point of view, it's people can learn from it. I think people can also the stories, I think, I threw that in there because how the hell could you not? I mean, for years, people would say to me, oh, somebody's got to write a book about what goes on in this area. And so, or I go out to dinner on a Saturday night after a whole, week of work with my friends, and they would drill me. So what happened this week? Any lunatic? Any craziness? Oh, any weird requests? They all want to know what goes on. It's exciting. So I think it gives it some insight.
Well, of course, and you wouldn't get to where you are with being an author without the passion and the drive. So we have a little message from Melissa saying, girl, you look beautiful. As always, you just keep getting better. See, that's why we like to have live interaction on the show. So basically, if you're watching live, put live. If you're watching the replay, put replay. But if you can comment and interact, we love that. We love to bring you up and celebrate you. So thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yay. So that's kind of why I like live, because you do get the interaction and people then can relate and be part of the conversation, which is, I think, what we do as hairstylists. We should include our clients as part of the conversation. Always. You don't want to be talking to the stylist over there. Oh, last week, blah, 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 blah. And your client's just sitting there,
no.
Not being involved or not, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
you got to focus on the chair.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So how does Super Hairo empower and inspire adults, and not only hairstylists, but also, say, business owners, entrepreneurs? So would you say anybody could read the book and benefit and be inspired from it?
Through this process, this isn't new for me. I never wrote a book. I mean, I'm a writer. I mean, I would always journal and stuff, but, people would say to me, well, I speak to people in the book world. What's your, I don't know. Everybody. So when I say everybody, I sound like an idiot, but I say, I don't know. It's everybody. Have you ever sat in a salon chair? Have you ever gotten a haircut? My husband's 94-year-old uncle read it. And he said, he's never been in a salon in his life. He's like a barbershop guy. He goes, now I know why my wife loved going to the beauty parlor. I understand now. So I think that my audience is very vast. It's hairdressers, obviously, people in the beauty industry, of course. But as I said before, you're in service business, you work in a restaurant, you own a bakery, you work in a clothing store, you run a gym. I got news for you. This book is for everybody. And I've been told that. Young kids, I've had some young kids read the book, like teenage, and they take a They have told me that I curse a little bit in the book, so
a little.
I throw curses in there, and they didn't like that very much. But ultimately, I mean, I really have had very good positive return for anybody who'd read it. They do say that they hear my annoying voice. They don't say annoying. I think my voice is annoying, but they do hear me, and they say that when they read it, they feel like I'm standing behind them in the salon chair reading it to them.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's been fun.
So we have Sylvia. So Silva. So I'm an assistant, best boss ever. So that kind of leads to our next. I guess get the brownie points now before the truth comes out. So for people that haven't read the book or don't know anything about the book, were there any personal experiences or story that influenced the book characters or plot? So we already know the answer to this, but people know that your characters are real; they're not made up.
No, names are withheld, but they're all
yes. But all the real personal experiences, all the.
I really cannot pinpoint one. It's a culmination of them all. I'm going to say all of the above. Every little thing, even if we're talking from like an employee standpoint. I have had employees come and go. I'm in business. It'll be 19 years. I've had them come and go, many of which I've hugged it out and I've wished them well. Maybe they were working for me and they moved away, or their life changed, or they had kids and they had to stop, or they decided that they were an assistant of mine. And I can think of one or two off the bat that was really just going through college and they weren't planning on being a hairdresser. When they left, we hugged it out and we still keep in touch. But, there's lots of things that I've gone through in the 19 years. A lot of people have come and go. So I think from that aspect, that's probably one of the reasons that propelled me is dealing with staff. I've had amazing staff. And I feel that every person, whether I've ended well with them or not, they contributed something to my life and to my business. So even though it maybe ended in a very weird way or in a not so great way, I will always value what they gave me and who they were. I will never think ill of them, but maybe they just can't work here anymore. But I will always thank them for what they were able to contribute to me and being part of my family. When you're with me, you're with my family. It doesn't mean if you're not with me anymore that you're not. But I think that I dealt with a lot of that. And I felt like that was probably the stimulant for me to write the book. Dealing with getting my heart broken. Dealing with the craziness of people coming and going like a revolving door. Why can't we find the right people to work? What is going on with the society that nobody wants to put the time in? That. And then there's some crazy client stories that probably stimulated me as well. In spirit. A lot of things didn't make the book. I guess when I really had to put pen to paper, you get so involved, you forget. So the minute the book went to press, I was like, damn it.
Yeah. So that'll be for your series. So it'll be for part 2, Super Hairo Uncaped.
Yes.
the uncensored version. There you go. So the tell-all book of that sort of thing. So when you had your personal experiences, were all your experience from your viewpoint, or did you talk to some of the staff and collab? And because we always see in our own lives a thing from our own viewpoint. So is this book kind of from your viewpoint, or do you have some kind of input from some friends, family, anybody else?
99% of it is my viewpoint. But I've had, especially in the work environment, I've had what I've always referred to as the moral compass. So when I think something is crazy, and the person would say to me, you know what? No, it's not really that big a deal. I would go, oh, okay, all right, get off the ledge, pull it back, take a breath. But if certain people that worked with me would be like, that was batshit crazy, then guess what? I knew I was validated. So I definitely had that type of persuasion. And but it's all my point of view. I didn't ask anybody, what do you think of this book? What do you think about that? Do you have any stories? It was me through the 2 to 3 years just kind of remembering. Thank God for with the iPhone, you can do voice message. I was voice messaging as I'm driving, and I'm like, oh, wait, I remember that one. That was the one about the girl who stole the thing. I write that down, and I couldn't write because I was driving, so I would voice message. So I had this little page in my notes section of the phone, and I would just have book ideas. Yeah. And I was just constantly remembering and just putting it all together.
Well, and that's a big thing. So many people have so many ideas. They don't write them down, and they think, I'll write it down later. They forget. And say just having simple technology or simple tools or a voice app or something like that to say, because a lot of times you could be driving and out of nowhere, it just strikes you. Or this came up or that came up. And this is how, it expands into something, even bigger
and
sort
you
of thing.
Go back and write it down. And then you say, it happens to me every day. I mean, I walk into the back room in the salon and I'm like, what did I come back here for? If you don't, I sometimes actually chant it to myself. I'll say color remover, color remover, color remover. That's
exactly. And then you get there and it's like, what did I need? Yeah. You walk back out. Oh yeah, I need it. I got to go back in. I think we all do that too, where we go into the kitchen and go it's like, why am I here? It's just, I don't know if it's age or it's just, gapping or that sort of thing. But what was the writing process? What was the writing process like for you? So did you have any challenges or surprises along the way? So as you were going through the process, did certain things come out that it affected you in a way that maybe changed your perception?
The writing process. The writing process was fun for me. I always enjoyed writing and the creative writing. I was terrible in school, and truth be told, that I didn't have to go to college to become a hairdresser, it was very enticing. I didn't want to sit at an office desk. I wanted to do that. So the creative writing is all the subjects you could take in school was a strong point for me. So I would write. when I decided to write the book, it was fun. And then when I realized I'm going to do this book and I need more material, I would kind of compartmentalize. And then that became like, this weekend I'm going to do policies in the salon. This weekend I'm going to do when I was an assistant, and I was categorizing and adding. I will tell you this. It was cathartic in a good way, but I'm not going to lie. It was cathartic in not a good way in many aspects. I have a certain chapter in the book that was very, very hard to write. You deal with things, nothing terrible ever really happened to me. But I'm the type of person that I will always forge forward. I will put it in the drawer and I will walk away and still take care of my business. But I dealt with a lot of crap, and I was not treated fairly. I was kind of handled in a way, never anything horrible, in any kind of like physical way, but it was more like emotional. So when I was starting to really dig deep into some of these scenarios that are true, it was very hurtful because I locked it away, and very hard to unleash that. And once I opened up Pandora's box, it flooded right out. And it was, my husband will admit, he said that was when I wrote that specific chapter, it was a very, very angry weekend. He'd come into the, and I'm like, get out. No, you need to get out.
Yes.
Because I'm processing. I didn't allow myself to process. I packed it in a drawer and I walked away. And I always knew that success was the best revenge. However, I've had people work for me that treated me like as if like they were my boss, and
you hire them, you give them a job, you give them a paycheck, and like, you owe me. It's a pleasure of working for you. So I'm gonna interrupt a little bit. Our feed is going crazy here. So we have Melissa on again. I'm so glad I got on. However, I have a meeting to attend to. I must attend. Love you and so happy and proud of you. So it's great when you get the support from the community, that sort of thing. Thank you, Melissa, for coming on. Basically, if you're here watching and you want to communicate, you want to ask questions with our guest, Nikki, we're more than happy. We want you to come up, be celebrated. We have another one here from Melissa. I just didn't want to get too behind. It's probably emoji. We have Carrie as well. Nikki, I loved your book. So obviously people are reading, and then we have next, there's Johnny, Karma, Super Hairo. So I don't know who all these people are, but obviously you have a big support network, which I think is kind of great for anybody. Even being a business owner, people don't really know what it takes to be a business owner. And I don't know how you crammed like so much into 200 plus pages. You just, 214 pages. It was when
the book came out, and I would tell people, I'm writing a book. When the book came out, I had some people, this is where like the stigma of being a hairdresser, some people would not my people, but some people would assume like, oh, she's a dumb hairdresser. Like, what could she be writing? When they look, they'd open it up and they'd say like, there's a lot of stuff in here. This is a big book. And I'm like, book. Of course it's a big book. I have a lot to say. Have you not met me? Like that I was actually capable of putting that together. I had one woman ask me, snarky little woman, my mother cannot stand her. Yeah. Oh, did you use a ghostwriter?
Oh.
Ghostwriter? That was me. Oh, did you put it into like an AI program like ChatGPT? No. It's me. I edited the book. I did everything. I mean, it was a process. But people can't imagine that just a dumb hairdresser could actually write such useful knowledge.
And that's the big thing in our industry. A lot of people think that to be a hairstylist, it's because you couldn't get a real job. It's because you don't have the skills to do anything better. But let a bad hairstylist mess up your hair. Then you'll see.
Plus, when those roots grow in, let me tell you, if we can't get them in, they think we could high up on the food chain and not knowing.
Exactly. So we have Silva again. So Silva. So as I say, I love you, Nikki. I'm so happy to be your assistant. Give this girl a raise. No, I'm kidding. I don't know how she works, so I don't know. But the thing is, for assistants, I mean, be the best assistant you can be. Learn as assistant, which I did. When I first became an assistant, I served 12 different hairstylists at the same time. I learned how to be a great hairstylist by anticipating what those stylists needed before they even asked. And that's how I became a great, assistant and then master stylist.
They're part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that sometimes I come across assistants that are just there for the job.
Yes.
They're part of the experience. Who do you love to see more than anybody when you walk into a salon? The shampoo assistant. They're not really not there to, they want the shampoo assistant. But not only, like you said, knowing what's the next step, knowing what they need, being in tune to it, being in tune to the hairdresser. That's what the responsibility to be part of that and to be one step ahead keeps us good. We're only as the people around us.
Exactly. You can look at the book. You can see, okay, foil highlights are coming in. What size do I need? Or depending if you rip your own or whatever. They have a texture wave coming in. Okay, they're going to need cotton. They're going to need, protective cream. They're going to need whatever. So then that way you have the plastic. You have everything ready to go. I used to put everything, have it all lined up. So as soon as they did, it's like, here, already done. They're like, wow. Because too, you can keep yourself busy, but clients see that. Clients see when you work hard. Clients see when you're busy. And two, because the shampoo technician, I think they sometimes have more importance or more impact because they're the first kind of from the front desk person, but they're the one that takes you back. They give you the impression before you even sit in the hairstylist chair. So depending if you're, analyzing their scalp, recommending product, how professional you are, if you're joking around, if you get them soaked, that's how they're going to feel before they get to that hairstylist. And they're going to carry that same feeling.
Getting them ready for us. And it's funny, I've told all my assistants this. They're their first experience, but everybody walks through our door with stress. Everybody, I said earlier, they hate their job. They're broke. They just sat in traffic. They haven't eaten all day. They're here. They're nervous about their hair. The assistant at the sink, when they're washing them, they are priming them and calming them down, de-stressing, giving them a really good first experience. And I have stood by this from when I was an assistant to whoever works for me now. Because when they get in our chair, they're better. So when they walk in and they're uptight, that assistant at that sink, that is what makes them so important. And I wish that they would all understand that. They are doing us the favor by bringing them to a Zen place. So when they're in our chair, they can communicate well and they're better. So selfishly, do what you need to do at the sink because it makes my life a lot easier. So I value the job of an assistant and I write about that as much.
Oh, Nikki's just popped off. She'll be popping back on. I guess her phone just kind of blacked out. Oh, there you are.
Sorry.
You're
sorry.
back. But that's a big thing with shampoo.
As I've gone through with assistants and dealing with some of the scenarios, they are the most important part of a salon. We can only do the work that we do if we're with them, if they're with us.
Exactly. And that skill that people don't think,
Wait, one
like
second.
with that training, and there's
I muted you.
I'm
on
mute. You're not on mute. I can hear you.
Hello?
So that's the thing about live, being there, being in the moment. So with everyone. So she's gone. So she's going in and out again. That's fine. She's disconnected, but she'll be right back. But so that's a thing. If you learn these skills, learn to listen, learn to identify when the scalp is tight and they're, and the client is stressed out. So when the client is stressed out, they want to come and relax. They don't want to be stressed out by somebody yakking and talking. They want to just have you there to kind of be there for them and prep. So then then when you become a stylist and you're on the floor, because they can also ask you too, if you want to be, or like Nikki's busy, hey, Silva, can you do my blowout for me? So if that's okay with your hairstylist, they may say, great. And that adds more revenue for the salon. And that helps actually get you onto the floor faster if people are asking for you. But there's so many salons out there that don't mentor their staff. You come in as an assistant, you sweep hair, you answer the phone, you wash color bowls, you sweep, and I mean, but they don't really teach you anything. You're lucky to have somebody like Nikki who actually mentors her staff. And sometimes it can be hard. Sometimes it can be stressful. Sometimes it can be, I mean, I trained with the world champion for 2 years with my license. Like, I was happy just to go, not even be paid. Obviously they paid me, but I would have just went just for that learning, just for that process, just for that, sort of thing. So Nikki's the best at hair, being a boss and an educator. And when you have a staff that speaks that highly of you, that's amazing. Because usually most times the boss is always the bad person.
Well, trust me, as much as they love me and they might be typing in that they love me, they know I'm tough.
Yep.
They go in that back room, and if that back room can talk, I'm sure that they, but we're all human, and they also understand that I say this all the time. I will not apologize for how I need my business run. And I will not apologize for how I want my clients treated. So that's why I've been able to retain clients for 30 plus years. And I feel it's how it should be. I mean, so my assistants know, and some have come and gone, and some have left for that reason. They don't like that I'm going to ride them and be on top of them. Make sure, number one rule in my handbook, those clients need to be treated well. You need to work well with us, and you need to understand and get on the same page. I'm not asking you to drink the Kool-Aid, but we have a way that we run, and it's been a proven theory that it works well. I'm not deviating, and I can't apologize for that.
No, and there's nothing wrong with having high standards. There's nothing wrong in tough love. There's nothing wrong in or to set that expectation. Because obviously if you have a salon, you have staff, you have a boss, and you have no clients, then obviously there's no revenue coming in, and these assistants, hairstylists, junior hairstylists, they're not going to have any jobs. So if you make the client number one and you treat them well, they're always going to keep you employed, not your boss, the clientele, because they need that clientele for the revenue to pay you, to buy the products, to send you for trainings, to, and who else would be a boss? Get out there, write a book, go on podcasts, talk about, and Nikki and I have talked previously, and we had a good long talk, a couple hours. But to say you have somebody who's knowledgeable, who is truly a superhero, right? Because I
can't see myself to be the I don't know everything. My husband has a very famous line he loves to say: "You might not be the best, but there's nobody better." I just stick to my goal. I'm sticking to my vision, and I'm not deviating. So I have other salon owners who shame me or chastise me because I'm an operating salon owner. Stand behind that chair.
Yes.
I do the work behind the chair, and I'm running around with everything. But I still feel I love doing the work behind the chair. If I really had it my way, I wish I could just stay behind the chair. But I know, being a salon owner, I have to have so many hats that I have to wear.
Yes.
But I feel it's so important. I never deviated, and that's why it worked for me. Other people might just say, you know what? No, I want to do 3 people a day, and I want to work less. What's the new mantra now? Work smarter, not harder. Maybe I'm just doing it for so long, I don't know any better. I'm stimulated.
I think because you're passionate. I think to be like you, like me, like 35 years, that if you're still passionate, you're still excited, you still love coming into work, you still love the process, you still love, as I say, and I think clients really feel it. Clients really feel your passion. Clients really feel a sense of excellence when they walk into a salon. They see a well-run machine. Not that everybody's robotic, but they see everybody really enjoying, really embracing, really loving what they're doing. And as I say, they're not just a number. They're not just a dollar sign. They're like, hey, Sally, I can feel some stress in your hair. Hey, your ends are a little bit dry. We have a great treatment that I would recommend for you. And I never called my assistants. I always called them technicians, because I believe they are, because they're a master at something.
It's true.
right? So never low level yourself. You're a technician, a shampoo technician, which means learn everything about the treatments, the product, the massage techniques, how to deal with somebody. Johnny has a question too. What's your favorite color to do on someone, Nikki?
I love reds.
Reds? All
Red.
kinds of reds?
I like all phases of color. I love red, and so many people. Oh, my whole career. I'm brown. I don't want to see any red. Why? It brings out the pink tones in the skin to make you look healthy. But I love a vibrant red. Oh, I love that. And I put highlights underneath, and then I glaze color over it, and it's like multicolored. That kind of color. That I love. But not everybody's gonna want that. I love just doing a regular root touch up. I love consistency. Somebody comes in, I have certain color cards that are like novels because every time they come, they do something different. And then I have some color cards. I haven't changed the goddamn formula, maybe just a color or gray, but it's been the same formula for the last 25 years.
And sometimes that's what the client loves.
Yeah,
I mean, you could always say, hey, let's put in a few highlights in the front, a money piece or whatever to change it up. But sometimes they just love that copper. They love that burgundy. They love that chestnut. They love that mahogany. You know what I mean? There's so many different colors of red. But I think when people think red, I think they think orange.
Yeah, like Lucille Ball.
Like Lucille Ball. And that's the biggest thing because it's so bright and so vibrant. But obviously with Lucille Ball, her natural color was not red. But it made an impact and it became her identity of who she was. And that's really what we do as hairstylists. We're also creating identities for them, or we're bringing out rather their identity. And that's why they come to us. So never just say, oh, just a trim, same as last time. Like let's evolve. Where are you now at this point? You might be different 4 weeks from, last Thursday, or 6 months from now, you may be a different person. You may have grown, evolved, changed. Something new has happened. If you never suggest it as a stylist, even shampoo technicians can suggest it. You know what would be really pretty or really nice in your hair would be this. And then they go to the stylist. Oh, I would like to have a money piece. So those are great ways that shampoo technicians can kind of help also as well, because, or they could kind of sort out when the clients, I don't really know what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just keep it in alignment sort of thing. And you know how much time that hairstylists have. Don't recommend if they booked for a bang trim and now they want a whole balayage color thing. Like obviously you have to, or be able to rebook it, like that sort of thing. Johnny again. So what do you guys think of naming colors? For example, like cowboy copper. I personally think some salons have a theme that goes with them. And if you want to create your menu with something like that, but then again, it's luck of the draw. They make it like, as I say, the problem was with a lot of these colors, a lot of these chocolates, a lot of these things, they give them all these names. The client would come in and say, I want this. They wouldn't know the formula.
No.
So still is a good colorist.
I like they want caramel.
Yes.
I told them what gold. Okay. Caramel is gold.
Yes.
They're showing like white platinum blonde. I want caramel balayage. And I'm like, first of all, balayage is a technique, but I understand that that's what people call it. So we're going to go with that. But caramel is a gold tone. Honey.
Yes.
Tone. You're showing me pale blonde. That's not caramel. I don't know if last time you've had caramel, but it's not that.
No, they either read it somewhere or they thought, I mean, with makeup, lights, clothing, I mean, lighting's going to make a big difference. A platinum can look many different colors. Unless you're in Texas. Texas, they love gold. And they add gold to all their colors. But mostly the majority of everybody else, gold means brassy. Gold means red. Gold means, you know what I mean? So, like, I mean, some people they want so much no gold that basically they're bordering on green.
Yes.
Like they want it so ash that, you know what I mean? And the thing is, once you go platinum, you can't ever get any lighter than that, or your hair is going to be clear and there's going to be none left.
Like lucids at that point.
Exactly. But that's the whole thing. They don't really know. But then again, it's up to you as a professional to discuss that with them and say, this is what caramel is.
Mm-hmm.
This is, so if you have a color chart, show them. And depending on what base you're starting, there's the undertone, there's all that kind of stuff that you have to deal with.
Fine. You can't just walk down the aisle in whatever horrible store you would think that you could buy color,
Yep.
which you never do. But you can't just say like, oh, I want her color.
Yep.
Point A to point B is completely different. So what happens? Barbara comes in and says, "Oh, my friend Annie comes to you, and I want her color." I can't just get Annie's card out and formulate.
No.
I have to look to see how dark is your hair. What is the texture of your hair? How much gray do you have? You can show me. I'm very good when it comes to this. Show me what you want, and I know the road to get you there. But you can't just go down that aisle in the store and go buy that box.
No.
Because it's going to look completely different on you. It's never.
And do they have rose skin? Do they have yellow skin? Do they have Asian skin? Do they have olive skin? That's going to play a part too. What colors do you wear?
Yeah.
So why would you have something? That's why a lot of times redheads, you do see them in that olive green, moss green, because it'll counteract and it balances. But put that on somebody else, they're going to look so pale and so drained. Or if you put a copper on somebody, that's going to warm your skin tone. Right? It's going to either make your eye color pop. There's so much more to it than say, hey, I like that actor or that person. But then again, the stylist is also a representative because they're going to say, hey, Nikki, I like your color. That's the color I want. But if my skin is so pale,
get you there, but it's not as they think. So it's good. I love it. And I'm a stylist that loves pictures. Show me what you want, because interpretations are different. They can say I want 1 inch off, and I show them 1 inch, and it's either like, oh, that wasn't enough, or oh my God, it's so much.
Yep.
When it comes to color, without a doubt, I want you to come in. Many of my clients, if they're tuning in, they will be laughing. I will reach out to them before their appointment. Say, just checking in. I know that you're in for color. What are we doing? Because 9 times out of 10, they'll say to me, I think I want this. And it could be a different variation than what they had, or something completely different. I want to be ready so I have my timing properly. I need to be able to dig deep and see if that's something you could do. But I just want to at least get inside of their heads.
Exactly.
So a lot of times it's just easier to know, but bring pictures. Show me some what's going on in your head. And
either what you love, or I also ask too what they don't love. Because then this is what I do not want. Because everybody's version, it's like, I want a pixie, or I want this, or I want that. And they're like, or usually what they'll do is they'll pick a short style and they want it so much longer that it really won't hold that style anymore. So you really have to. So anybody watching, whether you're watching live or the replay, how many stylists, juniors, when you have a client come in, do you actually do a full consultation with that person every single time they come in? Even if you're the shampoo technician, do you have a conversation with them about their scalp, about the condition of their scalp? What products are they using? If you're a hairstylist, and not already have so-and-so's coming in, I already have your color mixed. Maybe they wanted something different. I don't think you're doing a service for them by, sure, it's great to have it already done because you want to be effective and efficient, but if now they want a new color or a different color or have that color tweaked, now they're going to settle and they're like, oh, well, they already had it done, because then you're looking more at a dollar sign.
And that does work, because there are people that are in such a time crunch. I had somebody just yesterday, she was working, and so I know she gets the same thing. I know what her scalp is like. I mixed her color because I needed to schedule, but no.
Oh, Nikki must be. Oh,
am I back? Good. I thought
you're back. You all are chatting. You must have been heating up the phone.
You can hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yep.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, we've been chatting so much. Your phone must be overheating.
Give me 1 second. I don't know what happened.
I can hear you and see you fine.
One second.
So when you were kind of, other than your life experience, was there any special research you kind of did for your book, like how to write a book, how to do the chapters, or was it just your personal storytelling, just from journaling?
Yeah, just from journaling. Just journaling and reading it back. Just reading it back. It was funny. And I would say, I was reading it to my husband, and he's like, When did that happen? Oh, I remember when you told me that thing. When did you
Yeah.
write? You should totally do that. Then I had an idea before doing a book. I thought maybe I would do a blog.
Hmm.
I don't know what that is. So I just said, I think it'd be easier just to go with the book
To
route.
do the book, yeah, because a lot of people do blogs, but a blog has to be a certain amount of content. They're rather long. They're not short, like that sort of thing. But it's great. Maybe you could do a blog based on, some of the things in your book. But talking about the cover, how did you choose the book's visual style and illustrator? So did you do the illustration yourself? Did you have somebody come in to draw it?
I
How did you know what you wanted to see?
I always knew that I wanted it to look like a superhero. I didn't necessarily want to look like a unitard superhero, but I
No.
wanted it that way. I knew it had to be in a dress and heels because that's what I wear all the time.
Hmm.
I knew it had to be, which I left my hair down today, but it's always in a ponytail, so anybody
Yeah.
knows. So I knew it had to have a ponytail.
Yeah.
The publishing company, bless their heart, that's gonna be my second book. They couldn't come up with a rendering that was anything that it looked like a
You were
kid.
looking for, yeah.
I did have somebody draw something up and I liked it. And then when I gave it to them, they shot it down. But then I went to an AI program. My niece's fiance said to me, use one of those AI programs. And I have this thing about AI. I'm like very against it.
Yes.
So I actually said, no, I would never do that. So he said, okay, what do you want it to look like? And he started to prompt it. And he's like, how about that? So it wasn't the actual image, but I realized like, oh my God, it's that easy. But John tapping in and joining our little live could tell you, he helped me with that because, AI images, they're not real and authentic. They're not human. So
No.
what you see on the cover had like a weird scissor. So he had to Photoshop that out. She only had 7 fingers.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Because our hands are going every,
Well, it had 7
Yeah.
fingers. So he helped me with that. He Photoshopped.
Yeah.
So I loved the image once I saw it. It was like kismet. I was like, now I was hell bent. I'm using this. So I had a lot of problems with that. And Johnny thankfully helped me with that. He Photoshopped in a blow dryer. And then we had somebody to get it really fine tuned so the resolution would be good. But that's the cover. My husband looks at it and he said, how could you not have had that cover? It's you. It's me in a cartoon version.
Exactly. I think that's what it is, because even without people reading the inside, like I say, you can't tell a book by its cover. But as I say, the cover is great. I mean, with Johnny assisting you, he said it was for sure a process, and a lot of people don't realize. Becoming an author, getting your book published, doing all that is a whole thing in itself, sort of thing that people don't kind of realize. But when you kind of got it together, the book was together, the content was together. How was the response to Super Hairo been so far? So this should be a good one. Any standout stories from the readers?
A lot of people, they come in and there's so many stories involved in the book. I've gotten all good response. A lot of people have questions. A lot of clients come in and say, I was there that day. I remember when that happened. Which assistant was that? I know what I'm talking about. So I have long-standing clients. So that I really can't say that there's one story that stands out. I mean, there are some of mine that are my favorite. I mean, I've had people have sex in my bathroom while we were functioning as a salon. The guy took his girlfriend in there, and that happened. So we went through about 3 cans of Lysol and a lot of Clorox that day. But so that was a fun one.
I did read that in the book.
Appropriate titled chapter, You Can't Make This Shit Up.
Yes.
I had an assistant. Johnny and Sarah can attest to this. I tell them when I give an order, go put this in my car, but put it in the front seat, but put it on the passenger seat. There's a backstory to that. So they look at me cross-eyed, like, why is she telling me to put it on the passenger seat? Well, I had an assistant for a short time. We were packing up the trunk of the car, the small car, and she said, there's no more room in the trunk. I said, put it in the front seat. And she said, okay. And then at 7 o'clock at night in January, when it was like 4 degrees, I go out to my car. The passenger seat is empty, and she wedged 3 boxes on the driver's side. For the next day, why would you put it on the passenger? Why didn't you put it on the passenger seat? You put it. How was I supposed to drive home? She said, "You never told me what seat to put it on." So this is a lot of what I don't.
A technicality, but common sense would tell you. Unless there was some subliminal stuff happening inside.
I don't know. I don't know why. And she looked at me so honestly, dead in the face, and she said, "Well, you never told me what seat to put it on." I said, "How was I supposed to drive home?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I guess I didn't.
Yeah, because you want to move all the stuff out now to the other side again. Yeah, as I say, it's just common courtesy, common sense sort of thing. But do you see this book as a standalone, or are there plans for a series or spin-offs? It might be a little early still. You kind of want to see, but I'd love to see this as like a podcast, or even, hairstylists coming on sharing their stories, or like, they're like all that kind of stuff that just like relatable. I have tons of ideas. I don't want to put them out here yet. As I say, we can collab, which is the same. Are there any upcoming projects, events, collaborations, related to Super Hairo? So
I'm speaking in 2 schools. I'm going to be speaking.
Oh, awesome.
Really.
Yeah.
Monday, I'm going to be speaking at the Nassau BOCES.
Okay.
Going in early in the morning. There's two classes. So I'll be doing 2 classes and speaking and mentoring the students. I really, that if anything from this book process, if anything can come from that, I want to mentor the young ones. I want to mentor the new people, the people that are entering. Mm-hmm. I want them to understand what's expected, how to do it. I want to get them before all the bad habits and this misconception of that it's just going to be waiting for them. And it's not. You have to start from the bottom. Learn. You have to learn. You have to walk before you run. You have to learn. And I feel that the younger ones, they're just going to become influencers, and they're going to take that one picture of that and then put it all over TikTok, get 100,000 followers, and think that people are going to be banging down their door.
Yeah.
Being part of a team, being part of the learning process, as you touched on, so important. The assistant, working with us, learn from my mistakes. I learned from other people's mistakes.
Yes.
And I want them to understand another thing that you poetically touched on. I grew as a stylist when it was my time because they always saw me busy.
Yes.
I never stopped. And my old people I worked with from my very first salon when I was a shampoo girl, clients would watch me and say, "She never stops. This kid never stops." When it was time, if their girl went out on maternity leave or moved, they'd say, "I'll let her take care of me because this girl, I think that she's got the drive," and they're still with me. So
exactly. And that's the thing. When you're a shampoo technician just starting, create those relationships. Yes. Because if that stylist is away and you're there and it's not very busy, and you're going to be able to do more stuff. And not just be stuck, Silva. So I prefer the trunk. Junk in the trunk. So one question I do have for Johnny and Silva, can you write in the comments, tell me what you think it takes to be a great boss, or what characteristics do a great boss have to have? Oh boy. Doesn't have to be about Nikki, but just in general. It'd be interesting to have some dialogue and to have, just kind of what's happening.
It's not going to affect your paycheck at all.
Exactly. But if people wanted to support you, how can our listeners support your work and connect with you?
Well, if anybody read it, if they could write a review wherever you bought the book, that would be amazing, because I'm learning in this crazy world of book writing that the algorithm and the engagement of that would be the best way that you could ever support me. Also spreading the word, telling people about it, buying it for your hairdresser, buying it for your friends, buying it for, or just talking about it. You go to the dentist, tell the dental assistant about it, pass the word on. If they want to reach out to me, they could, through Instagram or Messenger. Super Hairo, the book 2024 is the Instagram handle. On Facebook, that's a funny one. I don't have a Facebook page for the book because it's not allowing me. For some reason, the Meta thing, I tried, and I was almost going to have to delete my own account.
Yes.
So Nikki Cestaro on
Mm.
Facebook. You can find me there. There's also a website for my book. It's superhero.co, not com.
Okay.
Yeah, superhero, like the title, .co.
Yeah, and you have lots of other podcasts that you've done recently. You have lots of other kind of information out there. This will be also posted as well. We'll have some more things coming up as well. So Silva. So yeah, be kind, patience, lots of patience. That's an understatement. But as a boss, it really, and that's what it takes. It's about seeing the potential in people and being patient enough until it comes into fruition. Because as we're growing, as we're learning, yes, sometimes we're going to make mistakes. But I think if you never make mistakes, you're never going to grow.
Learn from your mistakes. And that is a message that I want to put out there.
Yeah.
You trust me, everything I do good, even being a salon owner, is because I've screwed it up before. I've done it before. You just learn from those mistakes. It is so important to make those mistakes because there's no other way to learn.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way to learn.
And and then Johnny says, being a great boss like Nikki is to demonstrate professionalism, accountability, and hard work. So I think those are all, to me, the big one that stands out is accountability. I find now a lot of people don't want to be accountable. Yeah. They want to say stuff, they want to do stuff, but they don't want to be accountable.
Oh, own it. Yeah, own it. You did it. Own it.
Yep. You can't point fingers at other people. You can't, or this employee is so bad. Well, you're the one that hired them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or did you take time to train them properly? Did you take time to mentor them? Did you take time to see them as people, not employees? I know there's a fine line, but as I say, what we want with anything is to create that long-term relationship that people will hopefully be with you and in your salon for many, many years. Yes, we grow, we move on, like that sort of thing, or eventually you want your own salon. But when I opened my salon, everything that I had my salon was everything I didn't like from working for other people. But if you get a good person that you can work with, they're going to support you. If it's time to move on, if you want to stay for 25 years, if you want to build, we can't be afraid to let the birds leave the nest and fly, so to speak, and soar, like the eagles, sort of thing. Like we've already gone over an hour already, but,
oh my God.
but yeah, there's definitely stuff I still want to do and continue and that sort of thing. So we know where they can connect with you about collabing. So is there anything I haven't asked you that you would like to share with our audience?
No, I think you've touched on it all. I mean, I'm sure that there's things that we could still talk about. I'll have a life.
There's a whole series in the making.
Next month we'll meet back up. Listen, I love what I do, and I put that into every head I work in, and I love everyone who works for me and with me, and the book really is a passion project, and it was something that I really felt I needed to put out there for myself, maybe help somebody else. I think you've asked all the right questions. You've checked all the right boxes.
So Silva says she's a great teacher, teaches us how to use the product is one of the best things. And that's a very important point. A lot of owners want you to sell products, but they never teach you what's in it, how to use it, what the benefits are, what it's going to do for the client, because that's what clients want to know. Not that it's a pretty bottle and it'll look nice in their bathroom. They really want to know, what's it going to do for me? And as a technician, you should know, everybody should know. Front desk should know product. A technician should know product. Hairstylist should know product. Colorist should know product. Even if you only do haircuts and that's it. Even if you're all the departments, I believe, should also know all the products.
Absolutely.
Just or have a, you know what I mean?
The front desk should know the products.
Yep.
And you know what? I actually worked for somebody prior to opening up my salon. She would bring gallons of crappy shampoo.
Yep.
And
eight in ones. 8 parts water, 1 part shampoo.
Oh, we need more conditioner. Just put water in it. No, I'm not putting water in it. Don't you want to be authentic with your product? How are you going to sell that? It's going to smell different, and it's going to feel different, and it's not going to be good for their hair. So I feel that way. I've actually had distributors and reps from the companies say to me, I can't believe you really use that at the back bar. Wow, you really do use that on clients. How am I supposed to sell it if I'm not using it? And I also tell my staff, you need to use our products on yourself.
Yes.
It's important that you use it. So this way you'll know. And Sarah, who's writing in, she said the other day, she took one of our products and she's like, oh my God. And she's been telling them, overhearing us saying, oh, you have frizz, you got to try this. It's so great. They need to know. And that's how it works. We all help each other.
Well, and all the employees, you have to be an advocate for it. You have to use it. You have to experience it. How are you going to know, you know what I mean? And not, like, rightfully so, not every product is best for every person. If you have thick, coarse, wiry hair, that's going to be different than somebody with fine, limp hair. But it's just knowing those right product recommendations. Somebody who has big hair doesn't want a volumizer. Somebody who's, you know what I mean, obviously who has thin, straggly hair is not going to want something to like deflate their hair, sort of thing. But as I say, most clients, by looking at your hair, that's what they see, what they want, because they're right there. You're the example of, you know, what it is. And that's why it's so important. It's really not about selling. I would never let any of my staff sell. It was always recommending.
Yes.
So as long as you plant the seed and you recommend something you truly believe will benefit the client, they'll be more appreciative of that than this month we're going to sell this. Whoever sells the most gets a $25 gift certificate. Don't do that. Just do the best you can, being a professional. And if you're a stylist, you're not a stylist, you're owner, not an owner, you still put yourself in those positions of using the best tools that you have.
Important.
You know, and if you're not using what you sell at the front of the back bar, again, you're doing a disservice to the salon. You're doing a disservice to the clients. Because it's like, oh, we have this here, but we have something different at the front. No, they liked what you used at the back. They want to purchase it. They're ready to purchase it. And now you say, no, sorry, we have something else.
No, I not at all. That's not how, that's not my whole career. It's authenticity.
No. So as we wrap up, is there anyone, I'm sure, I don't know if you could think of any names, but is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to?
No, I don't name names, Brad.
Well, shout out. Yeah, because everybody is all the same. Well, shout out is more who's inspired you, who has mentored you, who made a difference in your life. That's what I mean. I don't mean like tell all. I don't go for that stuff. We're not gonna expose anybody, but it's just somebody who's been special or people that have been special or made your life better.
I praise him constantly, but Gino Stampora. I was young, 16, 17 years old, and I went to a workshop, and he's a motivational speaker for the salon industry.
Yeah.
I drank the Kool-Aid. He's so knowledgeable about how to conduct your life behind the chair. I do it. I've never deviated. I turned my staff on to him. We've gone once to go see him. He was in Baltimore at a thing. I communicate with him once in a while. I did send him. He loved the book. He's amazing. So he's in my ear all the time. But, you know, and now in the new world of like Instagram, there's so many amazing coaches. Nick Mirabella, who I did the with, he's so awesome. With Christine, Beauty Pro coach, she's great. I mean, Nina Tullio. I mean, there's so many that I think I don't gravitate so much to like, how can I do hair better? Because I'll watch those things. And there's so many amazing artists that I learned. But I think at my point of my career, I'm like the salon coaches, the people that have been doing it, the ones who are in, and the people I've named are definitely high up on the food chain for me. And I'm thankful for them, because just seeing something that they post on their story on social media, I go, God damn it. There it is. All right, get your shit together, Nikki. You gotta, you know, he just said it. Or
and that's a big point too. Like, it's not all about how can I do hair better. I think the real question is, how can I connect with people better? Because once you learn to do that, I think the other will kind of follow. So I want to say thank you, Nikki, for being on today's Hairstylist Empowerment Podcast. So as we wrap up, and you've given us so much already, what's a nugget of gold or message you would like to leave our audience?
Success comes from hard work. That's it. Love what you do. My grandfather, who is somebody who's very, very important. But I got to circle back. Grandpa. My grandfather was always very, very huge in my life. But he always said to me, you're going to work every day. Do something you love. And I stuck to that. And he stuck up for me when I was, certain people would say like, she should go to college. And he's like, mind your business. He owned his own butcher shop. He had a rough life. He lost his parents in the Holocaust, and he worked hard, and he and I had that connection. And he came to my salon every day before he died, and he was always there. So he did instill that in me, and love what you do. I do love what I do, and we all have good days and bad days, and that's it. Like, it's never going to be perfect. And my message is just wake up every day and love what you're doing. And if you don't love it, then don't do it. Go do
Exactly. Yeah, because you wouldn't be as passionate and you wouldn't still be in the business. Like, I mean, and for you, I don't think it's a business.
No.
It's a relationship with these people that have been with you. Maybe some of them have been with you almost all the 35 years or whatever, or over the period of time or a long period of time. And that makes a big difference. But so as we wrap up, today's episode has been brought to you by Beauty Industry Cruises, powerful education and beautiful destinations. You're invited to join us for a trichology-inspired cruise in Greece. And I know you're a foodie, so you would love this. So it includes your cabin, basic beverages, Wi-Fi, tips, 20-plus eateries, group workouts, and entertainment. That's happening June 8th to 15th, 2025. Adults only, so it's 18-plus on Virgin Voyages. Resilient Lady, and then all cabins are booked through myself. And let's just have a look. So it's great working in the salon, but I think to get out there, to attend hair shows, to learn as much as you can, meet as many people as you can, get into different destinations. As I say, being a foodie and loving restaurants, and there, like with those, there's 20-plus restaurants that are all specialty restaurants, and they're all included for free. So the food is incredible. They're all done by 5-star Michelin chefs. It's like, made to order. It's incredible. So thank you again, Nikki. So everybody remember to get up, dress up, show up wonderfully and powerfully. And oh, yes, we'll have a look at that too. So if you haven't got the book, we'll make sure the details are there, Nikki. So if you want to just give again so it's a .co. So what's the website again they can get the book from?
Well, they're better off getting the book from Amazon.
Yep.
And Barnes & Noble online.
Okay. Perfect. So just go to Amazon, type in Super Hairo, not Hero, Hairo. Oh, yeah. Oh, it comes up better when you put in Nikki?
Yeah.
Okay.
The book. And then there's an old listing because I'm now a self-publisher, so I relisted it to get away.
So it's under self-published.
So just Hairo, Nikki Cestaro, and there you go.
Great. So perfect. So again, everybody remember to get up, dress up, show up wonderfully and powerfully, and I'll see you next time.